Whenever there's a crisis, there's the tendency of all of us to go into a panic mode. Frankly, with 24/7 news telling us we're all going to die, it's hard not to go there. But Christians don't have to go there. And do you know why? Because we have a history. Because we have memories of a faithful God who never has left us in the dark and certainly won't do so now. In the book of Joshua, and you'll find this in Joshua 4:5-7, the people of God had just gone through a major crisis. And God said for Joshua to have his men to go down into the Jordan River and to pick up huge stones and to pile them on the dry land beside the Jordan. And then the text says this: whenever your children ask you, what do those stones mean, then you shall tell them that the waters of the Jordan were cut off before the ark of the covenant of the Lord. Christians have always had piles of stones. Most families have keepers of the memories of the family. If Facebook is any measurement, almost all of us have those. Pictures of celebrations and parties and good times and vacations, and you hardly ever see pictures of caskets or of a divorce decree or bankruptcy decree, of the darkness and the horror. And you know why, for Christians, that is true? It's because the joyous times remind us of the place where God has led us, of his faithfulness in the past. In other words, they become piles of stones that are memorials in our lives that remind us of God. You've heard it quoted a lot during this time by your pastor and by a lot of others. In 2 Timothy 1:7, Paul says to Timothy, "But God has not given us a spirit of fear, but of love and power and self-control." You ever wonder sometimes if that's true? You know how you find out it's true? You go through the crisis, and in the crisis you find that God is faithful. I met Corey Tinboom one time, had lunch with her in her hotel room, and she was a delight. She was that Dutch evangelist who had gone through the death camps and came back to talk about it. And one of the things she said to me on that occasion is that God does not give the grace before the crisis. He gives it during the crisis. So we're going to go through this. It's going to be hard. We can't be Pollyanna about it. We got to wash our hands and be safe and be very careful. But it's here. It's in the middle of this kind of thing that we discover that God is faithful. And listen to me, it's worth the price. It's God's way. They're crucifixions. But God ordains the resurrections too, and he calls us to remember. That's what the Lord's Supper is about, for instance. The world says, have a drink and forget. And that's what they're doing. And Jesus says, drink and remember. And so remember your history, personally and biblically. And in church history, we have a pile of stones, and God is immutable. He's always faithful. He's always there, and it's going to be okay. You tell me that, and I'll tell you that, and we're going to get through this just fine.